Visiting Minami.
Today's Visiting Minami is about international driving permits. I know I've covered this before, but listening back on it, I don't feel like I explained it very well, so we are doing a redo. Here is the revised version on how to drive in Japan using an international driving permit. These permits are not recommended if you plan on living in Minami. You can only use them for a year and likely only during the first year. An IDP can only be issued by your home country. You cannot get it once you're in Japan. The permit is valid for 1 year starting on the day you receive the permit. Additionally, the IDP is only valid for 1 year from the day you first land in Japan. So say you got the permit a month before you go to Japan. You can use the permit for 11 months. If you get the permit 10 months before going to Japan, you can drive in Japan for 2 months. You should have no problem with the timing if you are a short-term visitor, as long as it's within the year you receive your IDP. It gets a little complicated if you're in Japan for a long time. Say you've been living in Japan for a year and you go back to your home country for summer break and get your IDP. You will not be able to drive in Japan with it because your initial date of entry was 1 year ago. The initial date of entry resets if you've been out of Japan for longer than 3 months. Here's an example. You've been living in Japan for a little over a year. You go home for a month and get your IDP during that month. In this case, you cannot drive in Japan. But someone else has also been living in Japan for a little over a year, but they take an extended vacation to go home for 3 months. Towards the end of their trip home, a month before they fly back to Japan, they get an IDP. When they go back to Japan, they can use the IDP for 11 months. Because of this, long-term residents are better off applying for Japanese driver's license. When you drive in Japan using an IDP, have your passport ready as well. The rental car company will check for both to see your entry date. IDPs are issued through an international network of AIT and FIA organizations approved by local government. The method varies depending on which country you're from. If a website is offering IDPs at a really low rate, there's a possibility it's a fraudulent website. Research your country's authentication process and check if the website uses secure connections. Visit internationaldrivingpermit.org for a list of known fraud sites and more information on international driving permits.